Assetto Corsa Competizione is the most realistic simulator. Have a look at my expressions in this video. By the end of this video, you're going to know why ACC is the most realistic sim racing game. I'm in the Ferrari 488 GT3 here for a race that is, I don't know, one of the most dramatic races I've had in a long time. And I recently drove the Ferrari 488 GT3 in real life. And after I drove it in real life, I went hunting for the best, sim experience I could get in this car. And I found it in ACC. Look at the chaos here. Whoa. Trying to avoid some stuff going on inside. Watkins Glen. This is a 1 hour race. This is in the Logitech McLaren G Challenge community circuit. It's a new series by Logitech, community based. Whoa. With massive prizes. And at the beginning here, I was going side by side, trying to give enough space. And we got some minor damage to the front. Now, in ACC, I still don't know exactly how the damage works. By the way, I'd only just downloaded Watkins Glen before I entered the race. I had not set a lap in qualifying. I hadn't driven this track before in ACC, hadn't done any practice, and I don't have a setup. So literally, I got the DLC like 10 seconds before the race, entered the race on simracing.gp, really painless to do, and I'm now in a championship where you can win big prizes. There's $30,000 of prizes up for grabs by Logitech, and you don't need to win even the races to be eligible. It's sort of like a random draw just by entering. So lots of amazing stuff. These competitions in ACC are just absolutely amazing. Much better than just going in a random lobby. And you can see we're in P10 out of 16, so I think 16 cars on the grid. And I was super happy if I was going to finish in the top half. For someone that doesn't do a lot of ACC these days, but was really enjoying driving the car as a realistic experience, I wasn't expecting to do the best in the race. There's a yellow flag here. But as you're going to see, things go upside down, topsy-turvy. Just don't know what to expect. We started this race in last place, and we're already up to P10. You can also see that there is a mandatory tyre change that I didn't really know how to do, so we're going to see how we do it on the fly. And my tyre temperatures are basically under temperature. Should be, I think, is it 27.8 psi is the optimal. So we're here on lap 8. We're in P8, going around the outside of a fellow Ferrari. I think that's a 296. That's the Ferrari that won the Nürburgring 24 hours this year. So that's the one that I'll have to drive in the future. And you see this is how brutal the curbs are. And I'm so engrossed in top right. When I'm sim racing, you rarely see me looking like I'm looking in the top right. I normally look a lot more chilled out, relaxed. But to me, I was really so dialed in. It felt like I was driving the real car. It was just an unbelievable experience. Driving on Logitech Pro direct drive wheel with a Pro load cell pedal, so load cells, obviously very realistic. Fighting again with this Ferrari, looks like he's going to try and come back. You can see the radar there. There were yellow flags ahead. We're up to P7. Is he up the inside now? Might have to concede this. And the pace at the beginning of the race for me was not very good at all. But people have been caught up in accidents. So I've been able to sort of leapfrog then. And whilst I was ahead, trying to improve my pace. See, there's a Lamborghini there, J Polo, Esteban's in the Audi. Someone's been disqualified for driving the wrong way. And speeding in the pit lane. Wow, it's all kicked off there. I wasn't sure when I wanted to pit. I wasn't really sure what I was doing with fuel either. I think we started with 65 litres in the car. And you can see that with 43 minutes to go of this hour-long race, we have 35 litres left. So I was frantically trying to do maths in my head and really struggling. We'll see what happens when I get in the pits and what happens at the end of the race. Because the fueling is just so important in these. Not quite, I wouldn't say it's an endurance race, but I wouldn't say it's really a sprint either. It's sort of like a sprint endurance, 1 hour in ACC with a mandatory pit stop. But 12 laps of fuel remaining. So I was trying to work out, like, if I went to halfway, maybe I should just refuel another 65 litres. Maybe that will be it. It's about a 2-minute lap here. So on that basis, 12 laps to go, 2-minute lap. That's 24 minutes to go. That would take us, quite a bit past halfway into this race, so maybe we shouldn't put 65 in. Maybe we should put about 40, but my brain was just struggling because I was so engrossed in the driving experience. Driving a track with no practice as well. That was a little bit like when I drove the 488 in real life. Had no practice at the track, and just trying to sense every moment. You can see here how oversteery the car is. We're on a I think we might be on the aggressive setup, so the standard aggressive setup, and you'll see the car pitching around a lot. So not just a nose pitching in like we had there, straight line braking, but when we go around corners like this, off the sort of like weight transfer, the car getting very light, you'll see the back end start to rotate more than front. Oh no! Well, that's a disaster. Trying to overtake a Lamborghini there, having a look at the relative, and it looks like that we've got it still. Oh, did I clip the back there? Trying to turn right as quickly as possible. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. That's not optimal, because we were trying to hunt down Esteban, I believe, and try and keep in touch with that Ferrari in P6, and we've ended up, you know, losing a lot of time to them. Fleisch in P10, is he going to be someone that we have to keep an eye on? I don't know. Looks like he's been disqualified. I've got to stop and go, so maybe not. Don't know if we picked up more damage there, but really, really, really frustrating to get tangled up in an accident that's happening ahead of you. We're back down in P8. That was our, you know, objective at the beginning of the race, but I felt like there was a lot more on actually as we were getting faster. Track limits as well, going wide on the exit of turn 1, so we're sort of falling apart here. We're thinking about, look, maybe we do an early pit stop if we're feeling a bit flustered, but we'll keep going. Give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on during the lap and how it feels in ACC. So the braking zone here, quite violent, and really smashing over curbs. So curb on the inside, and then the chicane, and then really this one on the right side, exit the chicane. If you get too far over that, you end up mounting the curb, and you hear in ACC everything crashing around really violently, just like the real thing. You can hear all of the car not being super happy, bouncing over curbs. That stuff that you can try and fix with dampeners and suspension and, you know, the frequency rate and all these kind of stuff you can do in the setup. We didn't have that luxury. Catching back up with J Polo though, he was a driver that span, so, you know, he didn't really get ahead of us. We'll see if we can catch him up and get a move done cleanly. Running wide here on the exit, and now we're going to go for a tight hairpin where you can brake really late, but I think you can end up going deep too easily. Slow car ahead, nibbling the apex here. Now trying to get on the power in first gear, maybe in a second. There's someone stuck on the inside. This looks like it's a Ferrari who's come across us. That was a Ferrari we're chasing, and they look like they might... Oh, what's happened here? Was that Polo again on the same corner? Now we got big damage. It says light damage right, but I can barely see through the windshield, so we're going to have to pit. We're going to have to pit early, and now I'm going to frantically work out on my wheel on logitech direct drive, the pro wheel, what I can do. Can I try and find out how to refuel? There's no need to change tyres, but there is a... Oh no, you do have to change tyres, my bad. Mandatory tyre change, and we'll also need to refuel as well. So I want to make sure we've got that ticked. Just about found it out, you can see. Went down on the jacks, and now the repairs have been done as well. So we managed to get the repairs done, the tyres changed, and fueled up. Now, I think we did everything okay, apart from the refueling, because we've now got a massive 93 litres in the tank, which is good enough for 34 laps. And I told you it was a 2-minute lap, so we basically overfueled by double. So we lost a lot of time in the pits there. And you can see drivers like Esteban and Santos are now actually a lap ahead. So we're a lap behind in P6. And at this stage, I was kind of psyched that I'd managed to do a pit stop in ACC in this league race. But also it started to dawn, whoa, as we almost binned it there. Really trying to push it. This car rotates around the middle just so much. And looking behind us, we've got Fleisch, who was a long way behind us. He's now caught up, as we had to spend, I think we spent about 1:30 in the pits with the damage as well. And we got Polo. He's the guy that I think crashed into us, or ahead of us twice, I should say. And Esteban and Santos. So it's going to be... and Baz, I'm guessing it's a Baz. It might not be. Van Rentegam in the AMG. He's someone we should be trying to overtake, because he's sort of struggling at the back of the pack. We're still having fun, hopefully. But that really, really, really cost us. And I was kind of thinking, nothing ahead of a P6 looks likely. You'll see at the end of the race that, well, you can look back and see how accurate or inaccurate I was. See Esteban there doing a 1:50. That's also our best lap time. And actually, if you remember at the beginning of the race, I think on the first lap we picked up light damage on the front. And we'll have a look here what my lap times are going to be like. But I can tell you the car was a lot more responsive to drive, even though we're carrying more fuel than anyone in this race will be carrying. So we will be by far the heaviest car. So it won't quite be as nimble. Maybe it'll be a little bit more drivable, actually, as an MR car, a little bit more stable. But going over the line here, that lap time's not representative because we're in the pits. Let's see what we're going to do. So coming into turn 1, staying in second gear, try not to go all the way over this curve and pick up a track limit. So we just go over the curve, and now it's going to be flat, or should be flat all the way up. Have a look at my throttle, that green line there should be flat. Yes, we are. And we're going to try and brake as late as we can into the chicane and just carry that momentum. Basically not go too wide. See the car ahead sort of weaving around. Not taking too much notice of it. So we're braking quite late. Going chicane, avoid the bound on the right hand side. Hit these curbs. Try and hit this one as well. Very similar to the chicane at Daytona, I find. This one at Watkins Glen. We're now catching up with the AMG, but if we've got the pace, we should be able to overtake him. Probably getting the power there a little bit early. I think this is when I was realising, hang on, this car looks to be in better shape than the one I drove into the pits. You see Fleisch is really caught up behind us, and Knockhart as well is catching, I believe, in the BMW. So we need to get the pace on again. We don't need to pit again. Oh, he goes up the inside. I let him go there because I didn't want to get in the way of a driver that looks to be faster at stage. And there goes the AMG as well. Now, can we catch up with Fleisch? What is the pace like of Fleisch? Was he someone that was caught up in an instant at the beginning? It's possible, you know, that's why he could have been further back. Zooming ahead here to lap 15, by the way. And Fleisch has managed to get 8 seconds ahead. So he's just sort of eking out that gap. We're in P7. Hoff is in the pits. So why is Hoff in the pits at this stage? Maybe this is really when the pit window was. So we'll have to see if we can overtake Hoff. He's at least a lap ahead of us. Meanwhile, Fuentes in this race had an insane pace. He's 22 seconds behind. He's looking, I think, to lap us. So Fleisch with a 1:48. That's crazy. Hoff is in the pits. But are we going to overtake him, or is he coming out of the pits? Let's have a look. There he is. There's Hoff. And at this stage, I'm not really sure what's going on. See, I'm so excited in the camera view. I'm not really sure whether we're on... Oh! I could not believe I say that. That's what we call a certified DD moment. Speaking of DD, this video is sponsored by Logitech. Thank you so much, Logitech, for sponsoring this video. Showcasing the Logitech McLaren G Challenge community circuit. That is the championship I'm driving in right now. Super easy to enter. Go to simracing.gp. In fact, I'll leave a video in the end screen that has all the details. And it's a community racing championship that is run on 2 platforms, Assetto Corsa Competizione, and loads more information in Discord, and loads of amazing prizes up for grabs, including the Logitech G DD Pro that I'm driving on right now. The direct drive wheel from Logitech is one of the prizes, and you can win the prizes either by winning, I think, some of the bigger championship races, or just by competing. There'll be a sweepstake. But you can see here, we're definitely competing because Fleisch is moving up the road, but maybe Hoff will run into him. And again, I'm not sure, are we on the same lap as Hoff or not? We will see. Because there's a lot of drivers in this part of the track on the Relative. We are up to P7 of the 16 cars that started, and there are big points available in this race for that championship for Logitech McLaren G Challenge Community Circuit. See, car number 1 there has got a stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. That's not a Fuentes, as in like position 1. It'll be whoever's registered number 1, which I can't see, but it might just be that Ferrari you just saw at the top of the standings there. And Hoff did the 2:49, but can't read too much into that. So can we catch up with Hoff? Can we do a good lap? A 1:52, but remember, it was kind of a little bit of a weird lap with Hoff coming out the pits and then the big moment. So let's see what we can do on this lap time here. Can we put time into the Hoff? Can we... Looks like he is still a lap ahead of us, which is kind of crazy. So can we unlap ourselves to coming in flat here? Spoke through this part before. Clipping that curb on the inside. See Esteban's on a 1:50.2. Okay, that's definitely doable for us in P5. Can we catch up with Esteban? There is a SO car ahead. We'll have to see who it is. And going through the chicane, looks like it might be Santos. Looked like it might have been Santos there, who might have needed to tow back to the pits. So we'll have to see if Santos is going to be in the pits. That might be another position for us. Getting on the power here, trying to get on the power a little bit sooner. Coming over to the right-hand side. And we're going to try and get in the seat. We can get on the power here deceptively early. I think because of the camber is so helpful. See, that must have been Hoff there. Running a little bit wide. Not losing any time, but just sort of dipping a wheel in the grass. This is such a fun corner as you go uphill. Very unusual corner. Don't have a lot of corners like that in motorsport. And now we have a relatively flat hairpin, maybe slight downhill entry into the braking zone. These are more common. And there's loads of space around this hairpin, but you don't want to use most of it. Just stay tight, I believe. There's so much space. And Hoff isn't really getting away. I'm very interested to see what our lap time is going to be here. As we now try and get on the curb here. Staying in second gear, not going in first gear. See, we're green actually on the Delta. As we come into the penultimate corner where you can carry loads of speed. Actually more speed than I was doing there. And yes, Santos is on the pits and we're on the same lap. So, and we're catching Hoff as well. So, pretty good stuff to be watching here. Hoff with a 50.1 and we do a 50.1 as well, except slightly faster. And we overtake Santos. Is he coming out of the pit? No, he isn't. So it looks like we've overtaken Santos. Can we get as much time as possible before he comes out of the pit? And the question is now, can we eat into the Hoff? Because this could be a really good battle. Different strategies at play. Remember, we'll have a much heavier car than the Hoff. Because there's 23 minutes to go. 2 minutes a lap, and we've got 26 laps of fuel. Fantastic. Great job by me on the strategy. I see the gap to the Hoff is sort of ebbing and flowing as the Delta does its thing. Some of us might prefer different corners. Is he going to catch up with Fleisch? Well, we saw Fleisch at a 48. So, going to be very difficult for us to do 48. Although we're trying our level best here, because we're actually 6 tenths up, 7 tenths up even, getting on the power. Maybe this is going to be an optimal time for the car when it comes to temperatures, the tyres, and unfortunately, a lot of extra fuel. But look at the Delta here. Can we keep pushing it? No, going to lose a little bit on the exit. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Santos is still in the pits. Looks like we're going to be putting a lap on him, which would be amazing. Can we have a good exit here from the hairpin? In this battle, there we go. We go too deep there, and it doesn't really help. Look at the Delta. We gained a bit of time on the way in, but we lost more on the way out. And now this tricky one where you can oversteer. I mean, this is where I had both of our crashes in the race, if I remember correctly. Try not to kiss the barrel on the outside. I'm trying to do some maths, you can see, and work out what is going on. But Fleisch at a 49.3. What's Hoff going to do? Should see very soon.
Yellow flag ahead.
Yellow flag ahead. Alian Torres did a 147, which I was amazed by. So Alian Torres is on the move. And in fact, everything is going sort of crazy. I'm not sure what's going on. Pit window's still open. It'll be open right to the end. The Hoff has got away. Fleisch is now there, and then Fuentes. Are we caught up with Fuentes? Maybe Fuentes is pitted, so it's all chop and change. We're up into P6. What is possible here? You know, if our pace is actually not that bad compared to the Hoff, if we can turn the wick and maybe start to gain a second, maybe 2 seconds a lap, and he starts to make mistakes, well, we could really start thinking about unlapping ourselves. So, you know, enough rope in this race to come up with some strategy and really be able to settle in, which is that endurance racing vibe. The endurance racing, when you do it in real life or in sims, you kind of want to settle in and get your pace. I personally really enjoy it. I find it quite therapeutic. See, Esteban, we're trying to keep Esteban at bay in the Audi. We don't want him to come and unlap himself. Potential there for some incidents that we don't need. Fuentes, Fleisch, Hoff, how many of these guys or girls are up for grabs? Again, you can see here the Delta, but this time we were taking a tighter line, but not so good on the exit. So unfortunately, that's 2 laps in a row that we have not done a good job at that hairpin, which is not great. Really want to improve at that. I see I'm absolutely loving ACC. I'm sweating. I think it was like 35 degrees. Honestly, everywhere I go. I've been to Las Vegas. I think this is the day after I came back from Las Vegas. It was 40 degrees Vegas, 35 here, and then I went to Rome. It was 40 degrees in Rome. Just sweating for you guys and girls. By the way, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button, please. Hit the subscribe button. I personally really, really, really appreciate it. It actually makes my day. When I release a video, do a shout out, and a bunch of you guys and girls subscribe in the comments, liking the video. Genuinely makes my day. See Alion Torres, by the way. Hang on a second. Alion Torres. Oh, whoa. We got a moment. We got a situation. Forget Alion Torres. Looking at the Delta. And no damage there, but again, I've managed to spin it going up the hill. I don't know if that's a commonplace, but that's going to allow the Hoff to get away a little bit. But Leon Torres in big trouble. And now you can see we're up to P4. So with 10 minutes to go, we're up to P4. Esteban is in P2. The driver that didn't look that far ahead, that much better than us. You see now we're on a way to a PB on this lap. And there's a slow car ahead. Leon Torres has been disqualified. Fleisch is in P5. So Fleisch has had an issue. Fleisch has had to pit. Maybe some people under fueling or things like that. The question is, where is P3? Esteban is P2. Whoa, that was close. Fuentes is P1 now. Fuentes is on a different league. Can we keep Esteban behind though? There we go. There's the Hoff. The Hoff is 58 seconds ahead. Oh, that's going to be difficult. I've struggled to... There we did a 50.8 the previous lap. I struggled to see how we're going to beat the Hoff, although our predicted lap time at the moment is a 1:49 with 8 minutes to go. Can we get on the podium in our debut? What an incredible story this would be. And I'm absolutely... You can see me sweating away, by the way. I'm just brutally sweating in the sim. But I'm so invested. You can... I never concentrate like this. You know, on Gran Turismo, you'd be mad to concentrate like this. Well, I would be. But on ACC, I had the engine up screaming loud. And I was loving it. And I was looking at the Hoff, who's just, my word, on a 47. That might be the low fuel load. We're basically on the same fuel load as we started the race. So that issue, you know, is costing us in that regard. Although we might be driving around it. We might be using the weight of the car to sort of grip on the camber and take different lines as possible. We're just trying to swat away Esteban now. I know that if Esteban comes up and wants to put another lap on, or put his first lap on, I believe, there's a real danger of entanglement and crashing, and that's what I don't want. Because ultimately the P4 will be good points as well. The P3's for pride. But the P4 in my debut will certainly be good. This is all ranked by splits and everything. So my driver rating and everything, that is involved in making the decision on what split I'm going to race into. And we've got, you know, a couple of people here sitting in the pits. Their race is done. But we are still going because we have an Esteban chasing us down. It wouldn't be fair to Esteban if we just snuck in the pits. And also, we don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe the Hoff will have an incident. Maybe Esteban will have an incident. I don't think Fuentes is going to have an issue because Fuentes is rapid. 50.3 there. So we're getting closer to the 49s. Could it happen? It's possible. My word, Fuentes are the 145. Did you see that 145 for Fuentes? So Fuentes is literally lapping 5 seconds a lap quicker. And I have no idea where to find that pace. Literally no idea. So fair play for Fuentes. I might need to look at his replay and see what he's doing. Meanwhile, the Hoff just keeps cruising on. Just keeps absolutely crushing it. And we are 147.5. We just can't match that at the moment. Now zooming ahead here onto lap 29. Only 2 minutes to go now in this race. And my dreams of the podium really look to be dead. In fact, letting Fuentes past here, who just about caught us before the end of the race. I mean, look at the way he's streaking away in that Lamborghini. So fair play to Fuentes. The thing about league racing is you can race with some faster people, try and look at their lines. But here we go. Esteban is in the pits. You see, I've noticed here in the screen, Esteban is in the pits. So very, very, very late drama for Esteban. And I think we're going to be heading on to the last lap. Hang on a second. Yes, this is going to be the very last lap. It's going to be white flag. Surely, with Esteban. Yes, the leader's on the final lap. Big trouble for Esteban. Is he going to be coming out of the pits? I could not believe it. I mean, we are 59 minutes into this race. I'm sweating. I'm basically dead. I've crashed the car almost so many times. We started the race in dead last. I've never driven a track before in ACC, although I have an iRacing in Gran Turismo 7. And somehow, we've come through the sheer value of persistence. We've come from P16 all the way at the moment to P3. Esteban is now out of the pits. But he's got himself to stop and go 30 seconds. Surely that solidifies it. I mean, unless we get some sort of crash now on this last lap, this should be a procession for us. We shouldn't crash. We shouldn't crash. You can see me. I'm excited. By the way, obviously, I tried to record this race live, and for the first time, I think, in like 2 years, my audio from my microphone didn't record. So I've come down with a beer, and I'm just checking out again, and I'm giving you a commentary here. So yeah, like I said, hit that like and hit that. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy ACC, you want to see more. If you've made it this far, then you must really enjoy these races, and I would love to do more. Both in the Logitech McLaren G Challenge community circuit and just generally. Going around this is the third, I'm going to say third to last corner. And then another left-hander to come. And it should be, I wasn't really sure whether this was going to be the last lap checker flag, to be honest, because not super familiar. Opening it up, and I am just so relieved and excited to get a good result here. It's going to be a P3 is what I'm saying. Going to get the 3P up, giving yourselves a spud there. And there we go, race finish. We've got a 15 bonus cross just for finishing. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. Super realistic sim. My first hour-long race in ACC for ages. I really enjoyed it. I hope you do too. Check out the other videos, and I'll see you next time.